Playing Naval Action again tonight. We are sailing right now back up to Pittstown through Crooked in the Bahamas. Bringing some vessels up that way in my trusty Bellona. It's actually not my trusty Bellona. I lost my trusty Bellona. Sank in a stupid instance. There's an AI nearby. I'm going to ignore them for right now because I'm carrying some cargo. But it's a stormy night. I don't know if you can hear the game's sound effects and see the rain dropping on the camera. Sometimes when I turn around you can see a swash of rain too. Yeah, there we go. But I've got to bear upwind a little bit. I wanted to apologize for missing a bunch of streams and YouTube uploads lately. I've been out traveling and actually sailing, getting plenty of time to practice my light air sailing. Out here, I only have the reservoir, but I was down in Annapolis, which is a beautiful place to sail along the Chesapeake there. And I thought we would maybe have some better wind, but instead, light air. When you're sailing with very little wind, it gets very technical. You have to do what you can with what you have. And you have to spend a lot more time paying attention to the current. So we were sort of drifting around a bit, but we managed to find a few patches of wind and glide along through them as best we could. Ultimately, it was very fun. Anytime you can get out on the water is a good time, if you ask me. And that's why I live in the middle of a continent, super landlocked. That makes sense. So, yeah, bringing these in, I outfitted this new Bellona with some longs. It's got some Horcata Superior gunpowder on it for added oomph. That's a nice bonus to all your cannon's penetration. You can just punch through enemy armor very nicely that way. Ooh, that scotch is very nice tonight. Haven't had it for a while. Ooh, who's that on the horizon? An Essex. I'll come out and hunt some of them soon. But yeah, got to have some real sailing. I was out in a 22, 24 foot rainbow. I don't remember exactly. It's a little fore and aft rigged thing designed for the Annapolis Sailing School, actually, which is where I was sailing out of. They got a whole bunch of them in the 60s. I don't think they've been built since. But very nice. Simple, you know, a main and a jib, not terribly much to it. No motor of any sort on it, so when we were becalmed, we were really, truly becalmed. After that, got out on an 18-foot Catalina up on the reservoir here, which was beautiful. Sun setting, just moving out in a light breeze just enough until the wind died and was becalmed again. Yay. We had an oar on that, but it is hard to use one oar to move a sailboat. There's no good position for rowing anyway. Actually, there were a couple folks on the Catalina with me who had done some competitive canoe racing, so they were pretty happy to take up the oar and do what they could. Alright, coming into Pittstown here. Drop this off. Am I being chased? No. It's just that AI still following me. I think I'll just come right out and hunt that AI. If circumstances allow. The storm in the game mirrors the storm that's been outside today. Very nice having just a little a little rain. We don't get nearly enough here, and it always reminds me that, yes, water is real and water is wonderful. The other fun thing about sailing in Annapolis is that you are sailing near the Naval Academy there, so it is more of a sailing town than most any other place I've been. It's pretty great. You've got a lot of people out on the water, and you can, occasionally see some Navy things going on. There wasn't much of that, but there was a beautiful, beautiful topmast schooner of some sort out while we were there. It was really nice to see. It was motoring because no wind, but it was using its sails a little bit. All right, let's drop off this fleet. Now, without a fleet, I should sail a little bit better too. So, come on. There we go. The port UI is still slow and laggy and everything we don't love, but they'll update it eventually. Let's drop off some fish meat. Good. Drop that off. Head out and see about getting that Bellona. Not the Bellona, the Essex or whatever it was out there. Belpool. I know my ships. At least moderately. Here we go. Oh, that's a Grovon. Let's actually fight someone who's going to fight. This is going to be a bit of a challenge. 4-on-1. But I think it'll be okay. Can't attack for 20 seconds, so I'm going to try and just get into a good position with respect to them. As they go shooting out of the harbor. Then I'm going to, once this battle's over, head down and show you the exciting second rate that I built recently. Oh, and can we get just upwind of these folks? Yeah. Good. Then I will show you some changes to the map. There's been some geopolitics going on in the game. Various factions taking various ports. Mostly us pirates getting a few things. Mostly as far as I can see. I think actually we lost all of Central America, so on net we probably lost ports. Alright, let's wreck some of these. Battle in the Rain. So I've been continuing to read the Aubrey Maturin books, loving them. Need to sort of pace myself because, buying the next book every time is eating into my discretionary spending. But to take a break from that, I actually picked up Confessions of a... what's it called? It's called Confessions of a Long-Distance Sailor by Paul Lutus. It's his account of sailing solo around the world in a 30 or so foot boat. And it sounds, it is so far, really interesting. He's an interesting author. He was not particularly a sailor before he got into this. Let's take this shot first. He was not particularly a sailor, but he was interested in doing different things that not everyone around him was doing. And that led to him doing things like kind of accidentally writing one of the first word processors and using that money to buy a boat, learn to sail, and go most way around the world. Well, all the way around the world, actually. Let's get this pickle. That'll be a bit better. some of that went past. Let's just continue on. Don't want them to get my stern. So let's turn as tightly as we can. Back onto a beam reach. August also says, you're beating the Prussians, though, I hope. And the answer is, kinda, not really, no. The Prussians are going to be an eternal thorn in our side, as far as I can tell. There's nothing for it. Sad face. Yeah, I think it's a problem with any game like this. You're always going to have some faction that is a little bit more into the griefing than not. Oh, I can get my sailors back on their job. And tack. And repair my rudder so I can tack. August, also, can you give a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the audio balance right now? I changed things a little bit, and I hope that it's working. I hope that I'm audible, and that the game is audible in some balance. Anyway. Yeah, Paul Ludis's piece is really interesting. His book is really interesting. He starts out from Oregon and heads out to Hawaii, which is, you know, a pretty impressive crossing to begin with. He'd done some sailing up and down the coast before, but still, it's feels like it's biting off a good chunk. Okay, sounds like my audio's good. From Hawaii, he goes to the Marquesas, which is also, like, you know, far enough away. It's pretty impressive. Saddler. Okay. But, yeah, he's, you know, solo sailing, which is itself just kind of super intimidating. There we go, wrecking their sails. Solo sailing is, you know, intimidating when it's a long distance thing, if you ask me. Oh, it's so hard to keep up a thread and also engage in a battle. Could probably sink this, but I think my broadside is better used over here. Maybe that did okay? Can't really see. He talks about anchor stories a lot. Various accounts of anchoring somewhere and getting either yourself or someone else into trouble, or more often, in his case, someone else like lays their anchor chain over his or is otherwise kind of inept. Which for me kind of brings up the thing I find fascinating here, which is the degree to which you don't, like, need a license to sail. I mean, obviously you should practice. You should, like, learn from people who know what they're doing. But there are a lot of people who don't know what they're doing who do this. Oh. That is a broadside. Let's bring us back around to these folks. Let Rasmus and Pete deal with themselves. Ooh. Cannonballs flying. I've turned up the audio for myself so it sounds a lot more exciting now, you know, as the lead flies. But yeah, it's something that you can kind of just do, and maybe it's just the threat of like stupidly drowning yourself or something that keeps people from being totally cavalier about it, I guess. Ugh, that was not great. This broadside is going to make this pickle less. Let's balance out our heal. And that gunpowder, tell you what. Alright, time to wear. Don't stern rake me. Alright, cool. So yeah, the Bellona I've been using a whole lot. I very much like it. It's relatively fast and maneuverable for a ship of the line. But it does not quite pack as much punch as the Bucentaure, which I have sitting in another harbor, and will show you after this battle. It is really exciting to take a second rate. Let's do this. Yeah, I think we'll go between them. Taking a bit of a beating. So while I do this, the other thing I've been playing lately is Cultist Simulator from Alexis Kennedy, who I am a great fan of. That was good. Will I get this in? No. That was a wasted semi-broadside. Yeah, Alexis Kennedy is the person who did Fallen London and Sunless Sea and things like that. And his particular brand of spooky just, I love it. It is very much to my taste. They destroyed my rudder. Cultist Simulator itself is a real-time card game, computer game, which is an interesting genre, not one I've encountered before. The cards all have little bits of his spooky writing. You can see bits of like Lovecraft, bits of Blake in it. It's kind of cool. Very different aesthetic from this, you know. High Seas Adventures are different matter altogether. Let's get some sailors back on. The rudder is almost repaired. I'm actually... might be time to do a little ship repair. And soon it'll be time to do some crew repair. Also known as having a surgeon. Yeah, so Cultist Simulator, worth a try. I might actually stream a little bit of it at some point. It's really interesting. You're, you know, starting a cult, trying to achieve immortality for yourself, and, you know, selling your potential cultists on a story that may not quite be to their benefit, but, you know, what cult leader does not manipulate their followers? Anyway, that's occupied a bunch of my time and attention, as has, you know, work and writing and travel and normal things. Oh, here's the other fun thing. When I was down in Annapolis, we went to DC and we saw Hamilton, which is such an amazing show. I recommend it if you get the chance. Though I understand that that's not, like, you know, necessarily an easy thing. We happened to get some tickets in the lottery there, so that helped. Alright, bring it about, bring it about. Let's reload a few more. Pete's doing fine. Rasmus is doing fine. Hendrikus, I don't know, is the one who I need to go after right now. That shouldn't be too hard. They're presenting their armored side, but I'm pretty confident I can get a few shots through that. Slowly repairing the ship. Slowly reloading cannons. Probably take folks off of sailing for right now. Let's bring this around. No, not a single shot through their armor. That's frustrating. So, I learned a bit about how large ships like this, when readying for battle, would sort of mitigate the damage. Apparently there would be netting on the sides that they would put, like, hammocks and blankets and other sources of padding into, so that when the cannonballs hit, it would just, absorb a little bit more of the shock. And they would, throw things over the delicate paintwork and stuff like that to try and avoid as much damage as would otherwise happen hitting it. It's interesting to think about all of the work that would go into clearing the ship for action. Like, the captain's quarters are back here, right? In a part of the ship you really don't want to get hit in, but it seems inevitable. So you clear everything out of the quarters, out of the captain's quarters, and you move that down deeper into the ship. Oh, come on. I can do better than that. And any people who are non-combatants, passengers or things like that, moving deeper into the ship, into the hold and stuff like that. So that's clearing for action, right? The first 30 seconds of an engagement in this game where you're just sitting there. I like to imagine that's part of what they're doing. Let's also make sure that, there isn't extraneous stuff on the decks, that they're not, working on, repairing sails or spars. Oh, come on. Round. Ooh. Took the bowsprit off. That's something. That didn't do much. Alright, come on, Hendrikus. Let's at least sink one of these folks. Have to bear up into the wind just a little bit to get a good angle on this. And let's let loose. There we go. One fewer ship to worry about once it actually sinks, which it's working on. I can basically ignore the pickle. It can't penetrate my armor except at the stern, perhaps, so let's reduce speed just a little bit to allow ourselves to actually get this broadside reloaded. And, taking a few shots from the sinking Hendrikus. I'm not, let me focus on this for a moment. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. That was okay. Not my best. Pete is the Belle Poule. That's, I guess, the big remaining ship here, so I'll focus on that for a moment. Rasmus is not going to worry me much. So, the other thing that I enjoyed out on the Catalina, the 18-foot boat as we were going along the sunset, was it's the first thing I've gotten to really be in that had a little bit more of a cabin, something approaching a cabin anyway. Had room for some people to sort of settle in. That didn't do much to their sails. And it was very nice as a sort of picnic space. You know, we could be out there in relative calm, maybe just to bring out some food and some drinks. All right, change the reload configuration. That was an effective broadside. Let's try and turn with them. Oh, wow. All right. Their sails are damaged. All right, Rasmus is going to be the next thing, but I can focus on this for now. In fact, kind of want to keep on this side because I don't want to have to chew through their other side. Come on. Yeah, turning loses you speed, unsurprisingly. That's how turning works. One of the things that I have noticed actually on an actual boat is the degree to which, you know, if you jam the rudder all the way over, you'll lose a lot of speed. And when you're doing light air sailing, that really, really matters. But yeah, jamming the rudder all the way over will essentially make a very unhydrodynamic surface, right? So, makes sense that speed would be lost to it. That's okay. A few of those shots went into the water. Let's adjust our speed, try and match with them. We've got the advantage here by far. And, yeah, should be good. Yeah, so, all of this has kept me away from the game. I'm out of practice, I'm sure. I think if I'd been more up on this, I could have taken this whole scenario a little bit more easily. So I'm on a dead run right now. The only heal that happens is because of the waves. And... ooh, perfect timing. That's a good broadside. Not much longer now. Let's just turn into them a little bit. Come on, come on. The amount of time it takes to reload has really made me understand captains just cursing at their crew, you know? You just want to yell at them, make them do it faster. Did a little sail damage. If they cross in front of me, they will regret it. go. Pause reload, resume reload. I'm trying my best to keep the enemy between me and the rest of the enemy. Don't want to give them any clear shots, so. They might outsail me though. It's very difficult in a ship this size to maintain that edge. Come on, reload. So the gun fires, shoots back. They've got to swab the bore. They've got to ram in the cartridge. They've got to ram in the shot, the wadding. They've got to ram in the shot. They've got to then pierce the cartridge and oh, come on, come on, come on. This'll do. This'll do. No, heal less, heal less. Oh, there's the other ship. And I missed my chance. Oh well. Yeah, and all of this is very difficult and slow with the weight of the guns, right? They're like, you know, a ton or two or whatever, so you've got to haul them back and forth, and you need a crew of like a dozen men on each gun. August also asks, how accurate is the power differential? They seem to be barely scratching you. Pretty accurate. What's not accurate is the relative maneuverability. I am rather more maneuverable than I should be for a ship of this size compared to them. So if this were a real situation, they would very much have the advantage of speed and maneuverability and be able to get away from me. Like, I'm sailing maybe 45 degrees off the wind right now in a ship this size. While that wouldn't be impossible, it would be more difficult than not. Like, all the speeds in this game are updated or heightened. So, like, the number of knots you're sailing at, the speed of reloading on the cannons and stuff like that is all faster than it would be. And that tends to advantage the larger ships just a little bit. If you had to do this all in real speed, it would be grueling, right? It would be like an all-day affair, and who wants their video game to be that? So, I understand the trade-offs. A few more hull shots. One more Dex broadside should be enough to do for them. Come on. Reload, reload. There we go. That's just about it. We'll send them a parting gift. Just to get a little bit more XP out of it too, because the more damage you do, the more experience you get. What is this, D&D? Wow. D&D is not quite that, but still. Alright. Let's get that one reloading. Whew. 4-on-1 is not my usual. It takes a little bit more effort. As you can see, I've lost a lot of side armor, lost almost all my stern and bow, even little structural damage, but they've lost 2 ships, so I guess I'm still getting the better of it. I want to take out Chrysostomo Bishop, because a pickle is going to be really hard for me to hit. Trying to keep limber. Need to not let my shoulders creep up and as the tension mounts. Let's keep that one open, bringing it around. So I learned the difference between wearing and jibing. They're the same thing, but on a big ship you wear, on a smaller boat you jibe. And I guess the difference is partially that, you know, if you're jibing, you might have a boom swinging back and forth as you cross with your stern to the wind. That might hit you in the head, whereas if you're wearing, you know, these square sails won't. The spanker has a boom, so it will. Anyone up on the quarter deck there runs a risk. Let's get rid of our heel so we have a chance of hitting this thing. Oh, that was not the best shot. Alright, bring it back around. I do like that this is not a super twitch game, that I can just, you know, set a course and take a drink. Even though this one's trying to cross my stern. And if they do, I will give them some shot for their trouble. Nope, I am turning faster than they can. Let's bring this around to rear fire first and see if we can't just finish them off. The answer appears to be we can't just finish them off, so. Close, though. Almost no armor. Back to forward. Bunch of that bounced off of their bow. Not the best. Let's get everyone on the guns. Need to get the surgeon going again, but he's still busy. I'm down almost 60 crew from my starting complement, which is hard. Can we bring this around a bit? Fight Rasmus. I do sometimes love how suicidally brave the AI can be. Too late. Because it does mean that I never have to worry about them getting away. They won't try to. Come on, bring these cannons to bear. A little bit farther than the ideal range, but close enough still to do some heavy damage with this improved gunpowder I've got. Working on the reload. Take my time, relax. Think of Jack Aubrey as he takes the Fama, a Spanish treasure brig, coming into Cadiz. He barely has to fire a shot. Just a few warning shots, and they very quickly realize they're done for. So you can see some of their shots are bouncing off me now. Splinters flying means they're hitting, but when there's a splash near me, that means their shots don't have enough penetration to actually pierce my armor. Let's pepper them. Let's turn that reload off, that reload on, set people back on sailing and gunnery, because there's nothing else for them to be doing. Let's try and get on an intercept course. That poor Pickle, trying valiantly and earnestly to engage with me. One of the things I very much like in this game is the sound effects. Just getting to hear the wind and the waves and the whistles and the bells and the flapping of the sails. Turning too late, turning too late. It's okay. Still be uncomfortably close to them, even if it's not quite where I want it to be. That did something. Oops. That feeling when you hit the wrong button. And that shot was too low. So tacking in a big ship like this is hard, and you will usually go backwards, be taken aback, as it were. Which, you know, just means you reverse the rudder in this. But in a real ship, it does stress the sails somewhat. But in a real ship, you can control what sails you have up much more finely than you can in this. So, I suppose the trade-off is okay. If I don't sink them soon, I might want to do another repair round, because we're looking more similar than I would like. Alright. This'll do. Come on. That's what I wanted. That's the sort of broadside I wanted. And I set them on fire. Yeah. I don't think we'll have to repair. I'll repair when I get back to port. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Of course, losing your ship to an AI does make you feel very stupid. So maybe I should just be not stupid. I don't know. I can tolerate being stupid a little bit. It's just a game. It's not like I'm, you know, drowning at sea, or being blown up at sea, or being shot by cannons. At least that's how I justify it for my pacifist self, right? Nice. August also, what's nice? The broadside? The setting on fire? The senseless death of valiant British sailors at the hands of the dread pirate Rogelio McLaughlin? One of those. Alright. Let's adjust our sails. So here's the fun thing I learned doing some light air sailing. I got to learn a little bit more about tuning your sails. Whoa! That is a brutal broadside. Tuning, as opposed to trimming, consists of adjusting the belly of the sail, the draft of it, how out it is. This is really useful. Alright. Tacking for Chrysostomo. Chrysostomo? The draft of the sail will influence the degree to which the sail functions as an airfoil, which will help you move. And when you're in light air, and particularly when you're heading upwind, you may need a little bit more belly to your sail. On a fore and aft Bermuda rig, you do this basically by adjusting the boom vang. If the boom vang is really tight, you'll have less draft in your mainsail, and if you loosen it, you can get more, though if the air is too light, it won't even move it with a loose boom vang, so whatever. On a square rig ship like this, I mean, with hemp or cotton sails and hemp ropes, you know, there's only so much you can do to get it taut, so everything's going to have a bit of draft in it. Come on. Very nearly clicked the wrong button and fired a broadside at nothing, which would have sucked. There we go. Let's move down and see about looting at least one of these vessels. But it's not the draft in the square cells that provides you with much forward motion on an upwind tack anyway. It's really going to be from the jibs and the staysails. They're going to have the airfoil effect. Mostly the square sails are going to just, help you on the downwind. Oh, speaking of downwind, I'm facing downwind and had my sails trimmed the wrong way. So let me actually correct that so I can maybe get in on this one. What is this? This is Rasmus, right? Can I lose enough speed just by spinning around? I hope so. No, I'm going to capsize them instead of loot them. Alright, so much for that. Oh, I can. What do you have? What do you have? French rig refit on it. Yes. Leave battle. Alright. Well, that took the better part of an hour, but I will get you down to Mortimer and show off the new second rate. So exciting. That's a nice chunk of change. Spin ourselves around. I feel like I should be able to zoom out more. Why can I not zoom out more? There we go. It was stuck on the text chat. So when you pop out of a battle, you can't join a battle, join a port battle, attack for a bit, and you're invisible for a bit. That was the IN that disappeared a little bit ago. That's very useful because otherwise, you would suffer from just eternal ganking. And since there is no honor among gamers, you can't rely on anyone behaving well. So having a little bit of time to sort of sort out your new heading and all of that before you're even visible is good. And delaying the instant hop out, jump into another battle is good. Also, if you leave a battle, you can't rejoin that same battle. It doesn't show up for you again if you leave it, which is fair. St. Pavel. St. Pavel is a second rate and a pretty mighty one. It's a St. Pavel plus 6 larges, which means ships of the line. So that's definitely not worth engaging with. Alright. Entering Pittstown. Repair. Manage crew. Let's put everyone back on. Let's hire 69 new sailors. Little do they know what they're getting into. My sailors don't have a great survival record. And let's take a quick look at the equipment here. French rig refit is mostly strengthening your masts. Not bad, not bad. Very, very close. Maybe one good battle or 2 smaller ones, and I'll unlock the 5th knowledge slot on the Bellona. Nice. Let's teleport you to Mortimer Town. While we do that, I'm going to say, here's my cat. He crawled into my lap. He's very cute. He doesn't like being picked up for no reason. Here's the Bucentaure. The Bucentaure... Ooh, that's a high-quality pickle I've got. Huh. The Bucentaure is second rate, takes 840 crew. I'll show you its cannons and stuff in a moment. This one is Kakwarian and Sabiku, which is a decent balance. It's a little bit slower than unmodified, but, it is heavier. Better armor on all sides, better hit points. All that is really nice for resisting shot. I don't have good upgrades in it. These were just basic upgrades I threw on. But I've outfitted it with longs, a top deck of carronades. Carronades have a very short effective range, but are punchy at that range, and they reload quickly. So usually when I'm using this, I'll just turn off the top deck, fire with the 2 longs until I get close enough to fire with all 3 decks and just tear through them. And it's got 2 stern chasers that are longs, but here's its problem. No bow chasers. So, let's take a quick look at this in the wild. We're down in Mortimer Town, the pirate capital. Not a safe place to be often. Prussians all the time. But here it is. Lovely, lovely yellow and black. Well, not yellow. I think that's just the color of the wood. But it looks yellow at a distance. Not the proper checkering of a Royal Navy ship, but who said I was in the Royal Navy? Certainly not I. I'm going to ground it, run it aground, whatever, just to show it to you with the sails up. It's got a little house up on the quarterdeck there. It's got a very nice stern. Ooh, in too close. You can see its rudder. Got 4 anchors. I found out something interesting. Apparently, the part of the anchor that really keeps a ship in position is not the hook or anything. It's the chain. The weight of the chain is what typically does it. The hook keeps the chain in position. There's a requin out there. Who is that? Another pirate. So, here I am with some sails. Let's look at all of them. We have our foremast, our mainmast, our mizzenmast. We have our courses, our topsails, and our topgallants. None of the royal nonsense on the Bucentaure. We've got 1 spritsail, 3 jibs, 3 main staysails, 2 mizzen staysails, and a spanker. It's a pretty nice little ship. What else do we have here? Very large ship's bell. No visible capstan. I'm sure there is one. Might be on a lower deck. I don't know. We've got some air vents up there, you see, right under the shrouds. I think it's pretty lovely. If there were any AIs nearby to run... Oh, maybe I can run after that, if I can turn in time. Where... Oh, they're coming in. They're coming into Mortimer, so I get to show it off at least just a little bit. Before I do that, I want to say very quickly, here's the map. We've taken Cayo Romano, La Anguilla, so the pirates are expanding a little bit. Not tons. Cayo Vacas, Key West, getting into the keys, which is nice. Oh my god, they're sailing right. They're doing it. They're sailing through the land like an AI can, which means I will literally never catch them because look at that, sailing right into the land. Oh well. So much for showing off the Bucentaure. Alright, I'm going to return this to harbor, and I am going to bid you all a good night, I think. Other than that, yeah, the map says it was. Whatever. I'll see you all, I guess, next week. I'm going to have to change from Tuesdays. I'll notify inappropriate channels when I'm streaming, but I hope to get back to an every week sort of schedule. I'd really hoped to get some footage of me out on the actual water, but unfortunately I was too busy trying to constantly adjust course to deal with the very light air and too busy enjoying being out there. So, oh well, another time. And with that, I will bid you all a good night.